Romantasyathon is almost upon us, and as always, I am completely delulu about the number of romantasy books I can read in 8 days. Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea, and today we are talking through our TBR for Romantasyathon. Romantasyathon is a week-long reading challenge hosted by Tori at Tori Between Pages. I will link the announcement video in the description box below in case you're interested in joining. It goes from February 15th to February 22nd, which starts tomorrow, so we gotta get on our TBR. This year, we are headed to a ball, and each book that we read kind of determines our background, what we wear, who we go with, etc. This is not an actual ball, but how fun would that be to show up with knives strapped to our thighs and our book boyfriends on our hand? Like, how can we make that happen? Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and chat through my TBR. I will pop up the reading prompts up here so you can see what prompts we are looking at today, but the first category is what to wear, and the color of your cover of book determines the color of your outfit, and I have chosen to go with black. And I have a couple of different options for this particular prompt. The first one is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. I am dying to pick up this book, and it feels like the perfect book to read for Romantasyathon. It is mostly black. It does have some blue in it, but I'm gonna fudge it a little bit because to me this cover screams black. Anyways, I'm sure you have seen this book around, but this book is about the gods who every 100 years, I believe, host a tournament to decide who is going to be like the god of the gods, and they choose human participants to play in their stead. And for the first time in a long time, maybe forever, Hades is going to participate, and he chooses our FMC as his tribute in this contest. I think there's a little bit of a romance between Hades and our tribute, and I have heard kind of mixed things about this book, but the people that I trust really loved this book, so I think I'm also gonna love this book. The second option for this particular category is House of Bane and Blood, and I have seen this book literally everywhere. All of BookTube has been screaming about this book. I think it's marriage of convenience, a little bit of a steampunk historical fantasy romance with trains. I don't know. I don't know all of the details, but it's on my TBR for 2025 because, as I said, everyone has been talking about it, so I would love to get to this one this week as well. All right, the second prompt is who to bring, and as you can see, we have a few different options here. I have two different options for this one as well. We have a backlist book, and for that, I will be choosing Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I have not yet read this series, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. I have read Caraval, and for me, that was like a 3-star series. Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I wasn't obsessed with it, but I am curious about this series and I hope that I really love it. So I'm hoping to buddy read this with a friend next week, and I would love to just see what the hype is about and see if this author is for me, if the series is for me. So this one is going on this particular category. And the second book that I could choose for this category is a new release. And for that, I would be reading Iron and Embers by Helen Scher. This is the first book in like the new series as part of the Blood and Steel universe. What is that called? Legends of Thesmar series. This picks up 5 years after the end of the Legends of Thesmar series, and we're following 2 new characters, which we do meet in the Legends of Thesmar series, and I'm so excited for these 2 characters because the tension was tensioning in the last couple of books, and I'm curious to see like where they're at, when we pick up, like how they are with each other. Have they been together? Have they spent time together? Have they been apart? Like, what's the status of their relationship, and how are we going to move forward, and how are we going to get them together? So I'm very curious about this. I'm also curious about the world 5 years after the end of Legends of Thesmar. So I'm hoping we'll get some like overarching world building of how things have been like resolved from that series in this book. All right, the next prompt is your background, and there are several different options for this. You could be a witch, you can be a vampire, you could be a fae, or you could be an angel or demon. And I am going with vampire, of course. I love vampires. So I am picking up a book with a vampire, and I have 2 different options for this as well. We have Songbird and the Heart of Stone, which is the technically 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I've been on the fence about this series. I enjoyed the first duology, but it wasn't like my all-time fave. I do enjoy Carissa Broadbent's writing as a whole, but I haven't heard like the best things about this book. It is on my 25 and 2025 TBR, so I do need to get to it, and this feels like the perfect excuse to get to it. But I know I have some chunkier books on here, so I might not get to it. Also, my second choice for this particular prompt is an audiobook, which feels like a little bit more practical and doable for me. And that book is Born in Fire by K.F. Breene. This book is the first book in the Demon Days Vampire Nights series, and my friend Mads raves about this series. Like, she says I need to pick it up ASAP. She's been telling me that for a long time. It is time to honor her and pick up this book. It is on audio, which is fantastic to have an audiobook during this reading challenge, and I believe it's like the full cast audio, so I'm curious to see if I'm gonna like it because I don't always love those, but it's the only one available, so I'm gonna check it out. I really don't know much about this. I believe it's urban fantasy, which I love, and we also have vampires, of course. So this is a great option for this particular prompt. All right, next we have who our date is, and for this one we're gonna pick a trope, and for me I have chosen enemies to lovers. That's one of my all-time favorite tropes if it's done well, and I'm hoping that this book does it well. And for this prompt I'm going to be choosing Never Keep by the Twisted Sisters. I am buddy reading this with some friends, and that's probably the only reason why this book is on this readathon, because I'm not sure about the Twisted Sisters if they are for me. I am still halfway through Heartless Sky in the Zodiac Academy series, and I want to say that's like book 7. I think there are like 9 books out, and I still have not finished that series. I paused Heartless Sky like 2 years ago, and I still haven't gotten back to it, so chances are I'm not going to get back to it. But this is set in the same world as Zodiac Academy, but I believe it's following different characters, a different storyline, like altogether a different piece of this world. So I don't think I need to have finished Zodiac Academy to pick up Never Keep. I mean, I'm hoping not. If I'm confused, I'm confused, whatever. This book is quite chunky, but if I don't read it in this readathon with my friends, like, this book is not going to get read, so I really want to give it a try and give it a shot. And I've heard it's like true enemies to lovers. Like, I think they're trying to unalive each other. So to me, that's like the true enemies to lovers. The next prompt is the weapon of what we're going to bring, because you never know, like, who's gonna show up at this ball? Who do we need to fight to protect our book boyfriends, you know? And for this one, I am going to choose a new author, and that is going to be Peaches and Honey. I am so excited to read this duology, but I'm also really nervous because I hear it's quite devastating. But it has been compared to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was such a beautiful story, and I'm hoping for the same kind of vibe. I know it is shorter. It's just at like 350 pages, so I think this is going to be a really quick read for me. I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to be devastated, and if I love it so much, I might pick up the second book in this readathon as well, but we shall see where we end up. And then finally, there are a few bonus prompts for us. We have a one-word title, we have listening to an audiobook, we have a book you saw on socials, we have a highly anticipated book, and for most of these categories, except for the one-word title, I do have books already picked out based on the previous prompts. So like for an audiobook, I have Born in Fire. For a book I saw on socials, House of Bane and Blood. I mean, I've seen all of these books on socials, I think, so I could choose any of these. And then for most anticipated, I have Iron and Embers. I also like really anticipate The Games Gods Play. So like, I think I'll be able to fill most of these bonus prompts based on books that I've already chosen for the previous prompts. So overall, I'm so excited for this readathon. I cannot wait to get started tomorrow. Thank you so much, Tori, for hosting, and thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check in later because I will be doing reading vlogs to vlog my experience of this readathon and all of the books that I'm reading during this readathon. So thank you so much for watching today, and I hope I catch you in the next one.